Good morning, anybody and everybody. I am so excited. I just got the moto vlogging stuff that I ordered figured out. I had to do some initial testing, but this is going to be the first moto vlog for the Mainstream Moto channel, and I am excited. I thought for the first vlog I would just tell a little story about how I got into riding, just to kind of get it out there. You got to talk about something, right? So as a kid, I was never really into motorcycles, not at all, not even a little bit. My dad didn't ride, grandpa didn't ride, uncles didn't ride, nobody in my family rode a bike at all. And when I was about probably early 20s or so, my wife and I had a couple friends that died on motorcycles, and so there for a while I was actually kind of anti-motorcycle, which, you know, obviously I got over that, figured that out. But it wasn't until later I had a friend, and his brother-in-law rode, and it kind of got him into riding. That's a whole nother story, but he ended up buying a bike, and the problem was his mother would not be happy about it, and so he wanted to kind of keep it a secret. Understandable. And so he actually had the bike shipped to my house, and we unloaded it, we put it in the garage. It kind of sat there for a while, but one day when the spring came, because he kind of ordered it in wintertime, when the spring came, he started coming and going from the house. He'd drive over, and then he'd get all geared up, and then he'd ride away. And I was actually unemployed at the time, and so I would sit out the window, and every time he would show up, we would sit there, we'd talk for a while, and then he would get geared up, and then he would, you know, and I'd sit out the window and I'd watch him ride down the road when he left. And, you know, enough of that, and you start to want one yourself. So one day my wife was home, me and my wife were up there, and I was talking to him, and he got all geared up and he left. And I was standing out the window as he rode down the road, and I said, I want a motorcycle. And I thought for sure, I could have sworn that she was just gonna say, no, you can't have a motorcycle. You know, and I figured, well, you're probably right, you know, they're dangerous or whatever. That was my mentality at the time. But to my surprise, she says, I want you to have a motorcycle. And I was like, what? And so anyway, I started looking on Craigslist. I got my sights on a really small bike, just something to learn on, you know, something cheap, something to learn on. And I ended up finding a Honda Twin Star 200. Yeah, 200. A great little bike, you know, for commuting around town. It wouldn't really go over 50 miles an hour, but it was enough to teach me a few things about riding. And so I found it, we went and got it, and I was feeling brave one day. I went out and rode it down kind of around my house. I took 3 turns, and then I went right into the ditch. And I was okay. The bike was okay. You You know, it did a little tumble through the ditch there, and that was about it. I had to have somebody stopped, and we put it in the back of his truck and took it back to my house because I was just down the road from my place. I was quite sad that I had just wrecked my little bike. So then at some point, you know, my friend's brother-in-law, which is now a real good friend of mine, and his wife, they rode along with their father, and they would go out and they'd ride, and then they'd come back to town. You know, I don't exactly know how this worked, but this is what I perceived from the just onlooking. They would go out and do some riding on their bikes, and then they would come back. I don't know if they were just going to ride around town, because like I said, my bike wouldn't go over 50 miles an hour. And they'd ask me if I wanted to ride. I never did get to ride with them on the little 200. And so 3 weeks later, after I bought the little 200, I bought this. And I've had it ever since. I have not ran this one into the ditch. I've come close once. And it's kind of strange because, I don't know, I'm one of those people that I get into something and I have a lot of fun with it, and then I just kind of, I lose interest. But for some reason, this motorcycling thing has stuck. I just love it. It's relaxing. It's just one of those things that I feel like I really truly enjoy. And I'm just having a blast. Anywhere and everywhere I go. If you're wondering what bike this is a 2008 Suzuki DL650 V-Strong. So, and I love this bike. So not to drag a video on, we'll call that good for a first vlog. More vlogs to come in the future. I am going to do a video about the goals of the Mainstream Moto channel, just to kind of let everybody know what the channel is going to be about. And so stay tuned for that, or whatever you got to do. Let's try it on the right side of the road, though. What is that? It's grass. So, thanks for watching. You enjoy the rest of your day, and ride safe. Bye.